Okay, so in this problem, our initial problem was x over x minus 3 plus 2 over x plus 1 equaled 5 over x minus 3. So to attack this problem, first we got a least common denominator of x plus 1 times x minus 3 and collected like terms in our numerator. Because once we added fractions on the left hand and the right hand of the equal sign, because we had the same denominator now, we can just ignore those denominators and we set the numerators equal to each other. And now because it's a quadratic, this solution method is different than a linear equation. This time we want to pull everything to one side and get 0 on the other. So that's why we subtracted 15 to the other side, and we also subtracted 5x to the other side. So now we're going to move on to our next slide and solve x squared minus 2x minus 21 equals 0. All right, now you may want to try to solve this first by factoring and putting down our two parentheses and say what times what is x squared? Well, that would be x times x. And then think what multiplies to negative 21 that would add to negative 2. So let's consider our factors of 21. We can do 1 times 21. We could do 3 times 7, 7 times 3, 21 times 1. But in all of those, there's no combination of those with positives and negatives that would give us a negative 2. And 7 minus 3 is 4. 21 minus 1 is 1. But this is not going to factor. Okay, now if it had factored, it would be pretty easy to finish this off if you're able to solve it by factoring. So we'll just do a little sidebar over here of an easier problem. What if this had factored down into a problem that factored to say x minus 2 times x minus 3 equals 0? Well, then it's real easy to solve because anything times anything is 0. If you get either one of these factors to be 0, then you're done. So we'll just set the x minus 2 equal to 0 and set the x minus 3 equal to 0 and solve each of those. We'll add 2 to both sides. Here we get x equals 2. On this one, we add 3 to both sides, and we get x equals 3. And so we're done. We have two answers, x equals 2, x equals 3. But in this problem that we're working, it doesn't factor nicely like that. It's prime. And so instead of factoring, we've got to go back to the drawing board and use a different method. So there is a formula for this. It's called the quadratic formula. And now for your listening pleasure, I will sing it to you. This is a nice, easy way to memorize it. If you know the Pop Goes the Weasel tune, it says x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Thank you very much. All right, so now we can just plug in numbers from our equation. The a value is the number in front of the x squared. The b value is the number in front of the x, including the negative. The c value is the constant. So we can plug in here. We have negative. Okay, so this simplifies down to 2 plus or minus. The negative 2 squared was 4. The negative 4 times 1 times negative 21 is 84. So now we have 2 plus or minus the square root of 88 all over 2. And now simplifying this,